cruise lines love to tell you about the pools, the buffets, and the Broadway shows, but there's a whole side of cruising they'll never put in the brochure. I've been on enough ships to know the real game, the hidden decks, the unlisted discounts, the upgrades you don't even have to ask for. And today, I'm revealing 12 cruise secrets that can save you money, unlock VIP perks, and change the way you experience every voyage. Let's start with the one that begins before you even step on board. Number 1. The Port Day Advantage. Here's something that will flip the way you think about cruising. The best day to enjoy the ship is often the day everyone else leaves it. Most passengers treat port days like they're mandatory. The ship docks, the gangway opens, and there's a mad rush to get ashore. They've paid for the itinerary, so they want to squeeze every drop out of it. But here's the truth. Port days are when the real luxury happens on board, if you know how to take advantage of it. When 80% of passengers head out, the pool decks go from jam-packed chaos to a serene retreat. You can walk into the main pool, find a lounger in the sun or shade without a single towel claiming it, and have the bar staff actually remember your name. The spa, usually booked solid, suddenly has wide open availability. And here's the kicker. Many cruise lines drop prices on port days to lure the few remaining guests in. I've seen hot stone massages discounted 30%, couples treatments bundled with champagne, and thermal suites practically empty. It's the same story with specialty dining. That steakhouse you couldn't get into on day one? On a port day, you might be able to stroll in without a reservation. And sometimes, the maitre d' will throw in a free dessert wine just for filling an otherwise empty table. Now, you don't have to skip every port, but if it's a city you've already visited or a tender port that takes ages to get ashore, consider making it your day on the ship. You'll enjoy the facilities in a way that's impossible on a sea day. Number 2. Accessing hidden decks. Every ship has its secrets, and I'm not talking about the captain's logbook. I'm talking about physical spaces that aren't marked on the official deck plan you see in the brochure. Sometimes they're forward-facing observation decks tucked behind a nondescript metal door. Other times, it's a quiet strip of open deck space, all the way aft, perfect for watching the wake stretch to the horizon. And while these spaces are open to passengers, the cruise line doesn't promote them, partly to keep them uncrowded, and partly because they're often near crew work zones. Here's how to find them. Explore early. Take the time on embarkation day or your first sea day to wander the length of each accessible deck. Look for doors without crew-only signs. Some will be heavy steel doors leading outside. Open them. You may discover your own private sun deck. On one cruise, I stumbled across an unlisted bow-facing deck on deck 6 of a mid-sized ship. It became my go-to spot for sunrise photography. I never saw more than 3 people there, even on the busiest days. The advantage here isn't just the view, it's the peace. You get all the fresh sea air and scenery without the loudspeakers, pool games, or blaring music. It's like having your own yacht experience, hidden in plain sight. Number 3. The Quiet Upgrade Path. Let's kill the myth. Marching up to the check-in counter and demanding a free upgrade almost never works. Cruise lines are in the business of selling upgrades, not giving them away. But there is a way to increase your odds without being that passenger. The trick is positioning yourself so the cruise line benefits from moving you. That's where guarantee cabins come in. Instead of selecting a specific room, you book a category and let the cruise line assign your cabin later. This gives them flexibility to move you if they need your assigned category for another booking. The second part of the equation is check-in timing. If you arrive later in the boarding window, after most passengers are assigned, the ship's manifest might have gaps to fill. Sometimes you get bumped into a higher category simply to make the numbers work. It's not a guarantee, nothing in cruising is, but I've been upgraded from an inside to an ocean view, and from a balcony to a mini suite, just by using this strategy. And if you're a member of the cruise line's loyalty program, even at the lowest tier, it can tip the scales in your favor when the staff decides who to move. The mindset here is important. Upgrades are a perk, not a right. Approach it as a bonus for being a flexible, easy passenger, and you'll be surprised how often the system rewards you. Number 4. Tapping into crew knowledge. If you want to know how the ship really works, don't look at the deck plan, talk to the crew. Bartenders, cabin stewards, entertainment staff, they know every quirk of the ship's schedule and layout. They know which bars pour with a heavier hand, which buffet stations open first, and which theater shows are worth lining up for. They also know where to grab the best late-night snack that's not listed on the daily schedule. The secret is to treat them like people, not service robots. Learn their names, ask where they're from, and show genuine interest. I've had bartenders slip me a heads up about a private whiskey tasting that was supposed to be invite-only, just because we had chatted the night before. Crew members also have the inside scoop on timing. They can tell you when the laundry special will hit, when the spa's slowest hours are, and which shore excursions are worth skipping entirely. It's insider knowledge that can transform your cruise from average to expert level. Number 5. Off-schedule activities. Every evening, you get a copy of the ship's daily planner in your cabin. It lists the shows, trivia games, classes, and parties for the next day. But what it doesn't list can be even more interesting. Some events are intentionally left off the public schedule to keep them low-key. Things like officer Q&As, bridge tours, pop-up tastings, or extra dance classes. These are usually aimed at small groups or loyal repeat passengers. But here's the thing, you don't have to be in the inner circle to attend. If you ask the right questions early, particularly to the entertainment team or guest services, they might let you in on what's coming up. Sometimes they'll even give you a quiet invitation. I once attended a behind-the-scenes theater tour that wasn't in the daily planner. We met the cast, saw the costume room, and even got to stand on stage in the main theater, all because I had chatted with the assistant cruise director 2 days earlier. The lesson? The daily schedule is just the public version of events. The real fun could be in the unofficial extras. Number 6. Hidden discounts after departure. The pre-cruise upsell is relentless. The moment you book, the cruise line floods you with offers to lock in drink packages, dining deals, Wi-Fi, and more. But here's what they don't tell you. Sometimes the best deals happen after you set sail. Once on board, cruise lines watch how many passengers buy packages. If sales are low, they'll quietly drop prices mid-cruise to boost numbers. This happens most often with beverage and specialty dining packages, and occasionally with spa treatments. I've seen a drinks package drop by $10 a day on day 3 of a voyage, and passengers who bought it before sailing were stuck at the higher price. Specialty restaurants sometimes do same-day offers for dinner, especially on nights when a lot of guests are ashore for late port calls. Walk up at lunch and ask, "Any specials for tonight?" And you might get a discount or freebies like a bottle of wine or premium dessert. The key is to check pricing again on board, even if you think you've missed your chance. Just don't wait too long. If demand spikes, the prices go right back up. Number 7. Changing cabins mid-cruise. Most passengers think they're stuck with whatever cabin they got, good or bad, for the entire voyage. But the truth is, you can change cabins mid-cruise and sometimes even score an upgrade in the process. The key is timing. If you have a problem with your cabin, noise from the nightclub below, a broken AC, or persistent plumbing smell, report it within the first 24 hours. Cruise lines have a vested interest in fixing these issues early because the longer you wait, the fewer options they have to move you. When you bring up the issue, be polite but direct. Explain the problem and then ask if there's another cabin available that might be quieter or more comfortable. If the sailing isn't full, they'll often move you without hesitation. I've personally been moved from a balcony directly above the theater, a mistake I'll never make again, to a higher category balcony cabin 2 decks up, all because I reported the issue on day 1. No fees, no begging, just a simple, respectful request. And here's the side benefit. Sometimes the only available rooms are better than the one you booked. If they have to relocate you, they'll give you whatever's open, which might be a mini suite, corner balcony, or midship location you couldn't afford otherwise. Think of it less as complaining and more as optimizing your cruise experience. You paid for a comfortable cabin. Don't settle for something that ruins your trip. Number 8. Laundry without the bill shock. Laundry is one of those sneaky onboard expenses that can catch you off guard. Send out a full bag of clothes through the ship's regular service and you can easily rack up $40 to $60 for just a few shirts and pants. But seasoned cruisers know there are ways around that. The most common is the Fill the Bag Day, a flat fee laundry special that lets you stuff as much as you can into a provided bag. Some guests have turned this into a sport, rolling clothes military style to fit double the usual amount. It's not always advertised, so check your daily newsletter or ask your cabin steward early in the trip when it's scheduled. On longer cruises, there's often more than one. On a 14-night sailing I took, they ran it twice, once on day 5 and once on day 10. I used the first to freshen up halfway through and the second so I came home with a suitcase full of clean clothes. For smaller ships or luxury lines, here's another angle. If you develop a friendly rapport with housekeeping, they might point you toward the crew laundry. It's not guaranteed, and you should always ask politely, but I have been waved in during off hours on more casual expedition cruises. Even without these options, packing a small travel-sized detergent sheet lets you hand wash essentials in the sink or shower. Dry them on the balcony, away from public view, and you've saved yourself another service charge. Number 9. The calm disembarkation. Disembarkation day is, for most people, a stress-filled rush. Alarms go off early, passengers crowd the elevators with luggage, and everyone queues in the terminal to get through customs as fast as possible. But here's the thing. Unless you have a flight to catch, there's no reason to join the stampede. By delaying your disembarkation group to one of the later slots, you turn that frantic morning into a relaxed farewell. You get to enjoy a proper breakfast in the dining room rather than grabbing a stale croissant from the buffet. You can sip your last coffee in your favorite lounge while everyone else is dragging suitcases down the hall. The crew actually prefers it when passengers stagger their departures. It eases the strain on elevators and terminal processing. And you might even have access to some onboard facilities until your group is called. On one sailing, I spent my last morning in the adults-only solarium hot tub, while the rest of the ship was wrestling their luggage into the atrium. It's a mental shift. Instead of feeling like you're being kicked off the ship, you treat it like an extra half day of your vacation. You'll leave calmer, and your last memories will be of leisure, not chaos. Number 10. Shore excursion shortcuts. Booking shore excursions through the cruise line is the safe, easy option, but it's rarely the cheapest or most authentic. Cruise lines take a hefty cut from tour operators for the convenience they provide passengers, which means you pay more for the same experience. With a little pre-cruise research, you can book directly with reputable local operators for 30 to 50% less. Many of these companies are run by locals who know the area far better than the ship's contracted guides. They also tend to run smaller groups, so you spend less time following a flag and more time enjoying the destination. The biggest fear passengers have with independent excursions is missing the ship's departure. Reputable operators know this and almost always guarantee to get you back on time. If they don't, they'll cover your transportation to the next port. That's their business model. They can't survive without cruise passengers trusting them. On one cruise to Cozumel, I skipped the cruise line snorkel trip and booked a local catamaran operator. It was half the price, included better food and drinks, and had only 12 people on board compared to the ship's packed 60-passenger boat. The key is to vet companies beforehand. Read reviews, check cruise forums, and look for operators with years of consistent business. Do that, and you'll get more authentic experiences at a fraction of the cost. Number 11. The power of early loyalty. Most people assume cruise loyalty programs are only for retirees who sail multiple times a year, but in reality, the benefits can kick in much sooner than you think, sometimes after your very first sailing. Even at the lowest tier, you might get perks like early boarding, priority tender tickets, or exclusive events. Some lines will give you small cabin gifts, complimentary laundry, or drink coupons once you've hit that second voyage. The reason this matters early is because cruise status compounds. Book 2 or 3 short sailings with the same line and you might jump a tier, unlocking even better perks. That can mean faster check-in lines, invites to special cocktail parties, or private tours that most passengers never see. On a practical level, being in the loyalty program's database also means you'll get targeted offers for future cruises. I've had discounted solo rates, free onboard credit, and cabin upgrades just because I was on their list. Offers that never appear on the public booking page. If you plan to cruise again, even once, it costs nothing to join the program. The earlier you start, the more those benefits will snowball over time. Number 12. Reading the ship's culture. Every cruise ship develops its own social rhythm within the first 24 hours. Where people gather, when spaces are busy, and which spots stay quiet become almost predictable once you've observed them for a day. You might notice that early risers take over the promenade deck for walking before 8 a.m., that trivia fans fill the pub after lunch, or that the pool crowd starts building from 11 a.m. and peaks around 2. Quiet lounges aft might stay empty until late afternoon, while the coffee bar has a morning rush and then goes silent until dessert time. Understanding this rhythm means you can plan your own days without fighting crowds. Want a quiet dip in the pool? Go during early dinner seating. Want a peaceful breakfast? Skip the buffet and head to the main dining room as soon as it opens. I once sailed on a ship where the crew band played impromptu jazz sets in an overlooked corner of the atrium, something not in the schedule. By the third night, the same group of passengers would quietly gather there, drinks in hand, enjoying one of the best performances on board while the rest of the ship was at the theater. When you know the ship's unspoken culture code, you can decide whether to blend in or carve out your own path entirely. And that's the ultimate cruise secret. Not just knowing what's available, but shaping the experience exactly how you want it. You now have the full set of insider insights, the kind of details that don't make it into the glossy brochures. Used together, they let you avoid crowds, spend smarter, access hidden perks, and experience your cruise on your own terms. What's the wildest thing you've seen happen on a cruise ship? Drop it in the comments. And if you're ready to take your cruise game to the next level, watch the next video and grab the free guide linked in the description. Your voyage is just beginning.